Hello, hello, hello. This is Cyborg.
And Bumblebee.
And today we have another 2-for-1 special.
Ultimate Spider-Man issue 15 and 16. We're catching up.
Slowly but surely. So it goes from having Peter panicking to Peter somewhat relaxing in a mobile home. Well, RV home.
Peter and his family are in the middle of the desert somewhere.
On the run.
On the run. MJ says that they're on vacation.
On the run.
They're on vacation.
On the run.
Vacation.
I'm going to call a spade a spade.
But yes, they're in the middle of the desert in an RV.
On the run.
At an RV park with a bunch of other people that are in RVs.
Who are probably on the run.
Or at least that's what they say.
But I digress. So, yeah. And he still keeps in contact with Grandpa every now and again.
And Ben is pretending that he's an insurance, or that the people calling him is a life insurance people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's you never know who's around.
This is true. And who's tapping the phones, which might be Mr. Kingpin.
Uh-huh. Do we want to get into that and then circle back?
What?
The whole Ben and Wilson Fisk.
Oh, no. We'll circle back to that.
Okay. So, while they're in the desert, Peter Parker and Richard, his son, aka, other Spider-Man.
Spider Black.
Black suit Spider-Man, whatever you want to call it. They're both Spider-Man in Spider-Man suits.
Correct.
And they go to investigate something in the desert that...
Hold on, you're missing the very important part. Richard is trying to hook up.
Oh, yes. So Richard has been in contact with Miss Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat, and they got a little back and forth camaraderie, flirting via text, going back and forth.
But his Riz game is lacking.
He's also on the run, and the service is not that good.
He needs help. But even the suit says, do not send this text. When he asked, do you want to see each other when I get back?
He pretty much asked her out on a date.
And the suit said, denied.
Well, I don't know if it's the suit or the service.
Nah, the suit did that.
Or a combination of both.
The suit did that. I'm sorry. He was trying to save him.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead with the military base.
So yes, so they got some information from one of the other people at the RV park saying that people have gone missing around this particular arch in the desert that they were going to go sightseeing at that day.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, don't go there, go somewhere else. But they,
them being them.
And, Peter Parker being the one to want to help people.
And then you have MJ, who is
encouraging him, get him to get back in his mojo.
Yeah.
So him and Richard go to investigate. And they
under distress because he was not trying to do that.
Yeah.
At first.
Yes.
But now, because of lovely, devoted wifey, he's like, you know what? Let's try this out. Son has a suit. I have a suit.
Let's go check it out.
And sure enough, they did.
He tries to set some ground rules to make sure that the suit knows to protect Richard at all costs.
At first, he says, yeah, don't touch Mary Jane Watson. Mary Jane.
I think the suit understands, but also doesn't understand. But, the suit will do what the suit does.
Yeah. Because the suit is pretty much him.
Essentially. So they find this abandoned military base, and is it the Sandman?
Sandman.
He's there, and he becomes this big Sandman, and then this tower thing on the base kind of zaps him and breaks him into little pieces again. So every time he decides to
gets close.
Yeah.
So
and he's just thrashing Peter around.
He's not able to go back to his
human form
because he was an experiment.
Yes.
Now, an experiment for what? I don't really know yet, but
some kind of military experiment.
Once they seen who and how he was acting, they were like, oh, We gotta keep you in your monster form. We can't let you go to your human form. You might get out and start hiding from us.
They left him there with this tower to keep him at bay.
They kept him at bay, but they also did not want him to change from his monster form. And sure enough, Peter and Richard just started going in on him by accident, might I add.
Not really, because he was kind of thrashing and throwing Peter around.
They had no reason to actually go to him without asking questions first. I will say he probably couldn't say anything because he was probably in a lot of pain, but that's neither here nor there.
Kind of backtracking a little bit. So Richard and the suit decide to go and disable this tower to see what happens, because they see that it's kind of his prison and it's hurting him in a sense. So they're like, okay, let me deactivate this tower and free him, and hopefully he won't pummel us.
So with that, after Richard deactivated, but before Peter was getting his tail whooped by Sandman, they finally deactivated it, and he returned to his human form and told both Peter and Richard his whole story of how he was I'm gonna call it a test tube baby, but he really wasn't a test tube baby. He was a science experiment gone wrong.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He went sniffing up the wrong tree or wrong wall, and they snatched him up and were like, you'd be good for one of our experiments. And the rest is history.
They had no choice but to just let him go because he really didn't do anything wrong. He was just trying to be free or something.
Yeah. They take care of that. MJ and Peter kind of decompress and talk about stuff that's, after the day is done. And the next day is when Peter phones Ben and checks in, and they say same time, same place next week. Meanwhile, Ben and J. Jonah Jameson are being visited by none other than Mr. Wilson Fisk and some of his people.
Oh my. Yeah, so Mr. Wilson Fisk, he had a big problem with Grandpa and J. Jonah Jameson. They were putting out too much information that should have never gotten out.
So, they came to talk to them. Apparently, the Daily Bugle is going to be running a story on them the next day, and they wanted to get a comment. But also, they give him a file, and apparently Wilson Fisk has gone around and killed every Ben Reilly in the entire world, because that's the name that they've been using as the author of their articles on their paper. So he went around and killed all the Ben Reillys that exist in the world, and kind of, put his foot down. He doesn't want them to stop, because he said that he can use what they're saying and twist it to his liking, what have you. So he doesn't want them to stop, but he wants them to take accountability. I guess maybe use their actual names, because they're hiding. What did he say? He said that they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Take accountability, or things happen to people, or you have consequences.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Basically, they're hiding, and he don't like that.
But he doesn't want them to stop. So there's also that. Ben gives them a comment and pretty much says that we're not going to stop. We're going to do what we're doing over here.
Then they try to do the whole meme mugging, and it doesn't work on no parts of it. I'll be the last one to write the obituary when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
And that is from Grandpa.
Mr. Ben Parker.
That's a beast. I'm
yeah.
Be honest.
And then we get to issue 16. We're kind of backtracking a little bit in this issue. We're kind of getting some answers from what happened in previous issues. We see Gwen Stacy visiting Harry Osborn's grave. But then we cut back to when Gwen Stacy's mom passed away, and her dad is talking to her, telling her that it's not going to get any easier, kind of thing. And we also cut and see her in the dating process of dating Harry Osborn, getting to know him, and all of that jazz. And we see that her dad passed away at some point, and then we see her that she joins a League of Mysterios. That's what I'm gonna call it, because there's 5 of them.
Yeah, I would call it that, League of Mysterios. It's a little weird, but that's basically what they are.
And it gets passed down from parent to child. So her dad died, and now she has to take up the mantle. And it's a total of 5 of them. And we see that we cut back to her and Harry Osborn getting married. She's talking to Harry's dad. Harry's talking to his mom. Harry's dad is like, don't let him distract you from what you're meant to do in this world. You're too good for him.
Right. So I don't know if she's feeling some type of way, but I do believe he's going to start feeling some type of way if he hasn't already.
And then we also cut to, their first Christmas as a married couple, and he gets her a book. From what is explained, it's a book that pretty much explains that the world is on the wrong timeline, which as we know, is a result of the Maker. So this book apparently has written out what the world was supposed to be, or evidence that things were tampered with. And it's very hard to find copies of this book.
Really?
Huh. It's called The World That Is and the World That Was by Dr. Jericho Drum. And apparently Harry paid a pretty penny to get it for her for Christmas.
Jeez, man. Well, he do got money, so I wouldn't expect nothing less from him.
And we see Gwen with the other Mysterios, and they know what happened, and they know that the Maker is out there. They are fully aware, and they have all the information, but they are trying to figure out how to disseminate it without having it get tracked back to them. And then we going back to when the 2 couples, Peter Parker, MJ, Harry Osborn, and Gwen Stacy, were at dinner, and Gwen asked MJ to get her in touch with the paper so that she can give them the information so that they can put it out in their newspaper, and so that that information gets disseminated that way.
Okay, so try to get the word out without getting the word out.
And we cut back to Harry and her talking about it and saying that it was a good idea to give it to them, and that they'll do good by it. And then we cut to way back when Harry went missing, and Gwen Stacy was waiting in their winter home for him to come for Christmas, I think, or something to that effect, which is when they got kidnapped.
Yeah.
And one of the other Mysterios comes and is like, hey, I found your husband. Craven the Hunter has captured him and his sidekick, and he's hunting them down, just letting you know. Also, you're being followed. So she goes and talks to Otto, and apparently one of the protocols that Harry has put in place is that when he's missing, for her to be watched, and she don't like that. So she fires him, and from there we cut back to that scene in the Savage Land where Harry wanted to kill Craven, but Spider-Man was like, hold on, no, we're not like him. But then Craven kills him, or quote unquote kills Harry, because apparently we see that Mysterio comes and takes Harry away and then puts the illusion that Harry died. And then also
but wait, there's more.
It also cuts to where we see that Mysterio telling Peter to run and go check on your family and all of that.
Yeah, so not only is Mysterio there, but it is actually.
Well, before we get to that part, Mysterio, or well, Craven is not too happy that Mysterio betrayed him. And Mysterio is like, well, you shouldn't have got between me and mine. Blam. And, and kills Craven. But turns out that Mysterio is actually
Gwen freaking Stacy.
We knew that because we were, from the previous parts of this book, but he didn't know that. And this is the reveal that she was in the suit during that time.
He didn't know that, and Harry didn't know that.
We didn't know that until now either.
It's like a whole, what the actual heck? She shot Craven the Hunter. The hunter became the hunted.
Mm-hmm. All because he got in between her and hers.
Poetic justice.
And then we cut back to Gwen Stacy visiting Harry Osborn's grave. And Harry Osborn walks up and joins her.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all. But it is what it is.
But apparently this is, I don't know if this was their plan all along, but Harry Osborn is dead, but the Green Goblin is still alive. Therefore, Harry Osborn was never the Green Goblin. Taking care of that plausible deniability. He can't be the Green Goblin because Harry's dead now. But the Green Goblin is still out there.
But isn't Harry the Green Goblin?
According to the world, Harry Osborn is dead. But if Harry Osborn is dead and the Green Goblin is still out there fighting, then obviously he can't be the Green Goblin. Someone else is that's still alive because Harry's dead.
We need to ask J. Jonah Jameson. He knows it. He knows everything.
And apparently, Harry was not too happy that Gwen Stacy kept that information from him that she was the Mysterio, but they're going to work through it and come out stronger on the other side in their marriage.
I mean, it was a secret that needed to be kept, but they'll be fine. They'll work stronger together.
And then that is the end of these 2 books.
You guys, this was a long one, but a good one. Because it pretty much tells me, because I felt some type of way in the last issue that Harry died, but turns out he did not. He was saved by his wife, which I think if Bumblebee had the power, she would do the same for me. Isn't that right?
I would.
So, you guys, I suggest you go to your local comic book store, pick up these 2 comics. It is a really good read, and they have different variants. I haven't said that before in any of our other ones, but these variants are pretty cool. But if you can't go to your local comic book store, you should also check out
the Marvel Unlimited app
and read with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will talk to you guys later. Peace.